Shalawam. I'm your brother Yahawashi from the branch of GMS, South Carolina Millings. And before we start off, all praise, honor, and glory belongs to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, HaQadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. And Shalawam to you hopeful elect, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you I say Shalawam. The just shall live by faith. All right, this lesson, I want to hit a precept that I didn't get in yesterday's lesson. Being Isaiah 65:13, pertaining into, the servants of Yahawashi, the hopeful elect. Being able to eat and drink, all right, and rejoice, during the time of famine, during the time of Jacob's trouble. During that time, of course, this devil, he's going to declare martial law, have things blocked off, have roads, bridges blocked off. Of course, he's going to take over, grocery stores like Walmart, and other major grocery stores for that matter. And the only way you're going to be able to buy or sell, is to come to this devil and take his charagma, all right, bend the knee to his beast system, his new world order, and a lot of Israelites is going to bend that knee, all right, but not the hopeful elect, not the members of the hopeful elect, all right, because we're going to live by our faith in Yahawashi. We're going to exercise our faith and believe in the words that Yahawashi promised unto us, all right. And one of the words, or the many words that the Lord promises to us, is Isaiah 65:13. And it tells us, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, behold, my servants shall eat. And that's you brothers and you sisters, you hopeful members of the elect. You're going to eat during the time of trouble. You're going to eat during the time of famine. All right, because this devil, he is orchestrating a man-made famine. All right, but really, ultimately, it's Yahawashi bringing a famine, all right, to Babylon the Great. The whole port or the tariff situation, dealing with Donald J. Trump putting these tariffs on these different nations, and China, counter, with their tariffs, and threatening not to send in any exports over here, to Babylon the Great. Well, that's a hit to the supply chain, which the majority of things over here in America is gotten from, China and these other nations. All right. And, among those shipments, is food. All right. Among those shipments is provisions. Okay. And we know that once World War III, because this whole tariffs and putting taxes on one another, this is nothing but a trade war, which will eventually lead to the war to end all wars, World War III. You got other wars currently happening right now, with Russia and Ukraine, and America obviously backing Ukraine, and obviously backing the Israeli state of Israel, in the whole Israel-Hamas conflict, all right, dealing with those Palestinians, as well, and Iran, of course, getting involved in defense of, Hamas and Palestine, but nonetheless, it's going to get to that point to World War III will, touch the shores of America. And, once war begins, everything stops. Ain't gonna be no more shipments. Ain't gonna be no more truckers moving things to and fro, stocking up other shelves. People about to lose it. People about to bug out. People about to rob, loot, steal. you know, and the shelves is going to be empty. And what little food is going to be left, you know, Esau is going to have to declare martial law and, you know, lock it down and, you know, regulate that food and distribute it, you know, which is what this devil wants. You know, he wants that order out of chaos. That's a part of his new world order. That's a part of his plans. And, you know, you ain't going to be able to get access to that food or water without taking that device. And, you know, during this time, you know, the Lord already assured us and promised us that we're going to eat. Okay? We're going to be good. All right? And we know this and we believe this. All right? And that's through faith. Okay? We can't tell you what we're going to eat. We can't tell you how. All right? But we know that we're going to eat for sure. All right? It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. And that's the 2/3. 2/3 going to be left out there. All right? 2/3 going to be, you know, right where the Lord wanted them to be. And that's starving like Marvin. All right? Because right now, during this grace period, they didn't take the time to seek the Lord. They didn't take the time to repent. All right? So the Lord got judgments waiting on them. All right? And that starvation is a heavy judgment that the Lord is going to bring into these niggas, man. Let's grab something real quick. It's the book of Lamentations 4 and 9. And it reads, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away stricken through the want of the fruits of the field. So it's better that you get taken out, you know, of course, by the modern day sword being the gun, than for you to starve to death. Because that's a slow, painful, agonizing deletion, judgment by Yahawah. That's going to be on these 2/3. Hence why we're reading, but ye shall be hungry. Isaiah 65 and 13. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. They're going to be dying of thirst as well. It says, behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And why are we going to be rejoicing? Because the Lord is going to evidently show, and we're going to know that the Lord is with us, with his elect. And why the 2/3 going to be ashamed? Because they realize that they shunned their only protection, which is Yahawah. You know, they trusted in Egypt, which was no help unto them. They trusted in the so-called white man, which was no and is no help to them. Okay? The so-called white man can't even save himself, let alone he ain't going to extend no type of love to you. All right? To try to save and help you. All right? And this one thing that we know. Okay? You know, if anything, this devil is going to show hatred to you Israelites out there. Okay? The devil is going to be the devil and show his hatred towards you. Okay? This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. And this is speaking on Esau, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. The wicked, according to the Bible. All right, read Malachi 1 and 4. He is the border of wickedness and the people whom the Lord, Yahawah, have indignation with forever. All right, so the devil going to be the devil, man. And he going to show you fully in this time of Jacob's trouble. All right. But the just shall live by faith. The just, the elect, is going to live by faith. Okay? Because as it is written in the book of Isaiah 33, Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahawah, is his treasure. So how are we going to be able to stable mind? Through our faith. Through us believing in this wisdom and knowledge that we have acquired. All right? That the Lord has given unto us. Okay? Because we got to remember Ephesians 2:8. Faith is a gift given unto us. Us having this wisdom and this knowledge, all right, and believing in that, it's a gift. All right? The Lord put it on our spirit to believe in his word and to call upon his name. All right? Not nothing that we done here carnally. All right? It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So it's going to keep us from bugging out. And strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Yep. Hence the just is going to live by faith. It's how we're going to be saved. All right. We ain't going to make no rash decisions. We ain't going to, make carnal decisions. We're going to walk in the Spirit and trust in the Lord. All right. We're going to have to let the Lord work. Okay. We're going to be put in some very uncomfortable situations in order for the Lord to work. I got this little news video concerning the whole situation in Gaza. Dealing with them small hats and the Hamas situation. And you got them babies. Apparently over there, them babies, men, women, and children, starving over there. And this is the result of war. All right, this is the ugliness of war. And these proud Americans think that, this type of chaos, this type of situation won't come over here, won't find its way over here. The judgments and the plagues of the Lord won't find its way over here. But the truth of the matter is, it's going to be far worse when it hits over here in America. These people got guns, all over, sprawled all over their houses. Specifically these Edomites and Jake and these heathens. They got guns out the wazoo. Okay? And what you think when they begin to feel hunger, they begin to starve, they're going to go into a frenzy, an uproar. They're going to come up against the government. All right? They're not going to disregard what the government got to say. And that's 2 Esdras, the 15th chapter. And they're going to be robbing and spoiling and looting one another, man. Okay? Hence the cause of martial law. Chaos. All right? Let me play a little bit of this and get these scriptures.
Following Israel's nearly 3-month-long blockade of Gaza, the UN and other aid groups still operating there warn that hundreds of thousands of people are facing catastrophic hunger. 93 supply trucks were allowed over the border today, but the UN said none of that aid actually made it to the Palestinians who desperately need it. And with Israel's new ground operation and bombing campaign in full swing, they call it Chariots of Gideon. There is concern the situation in Gaza will only get worse. We'll talk to an advisor to Israel's prime minister shortly. But first, here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, with this report from Gaza.
اطبخ اليوم مش عارفه ايش بدي اطبخ ما فيش عندي خشب انا مش عارفه ايش اسوي شوف فين بقى بكيلو خشب لا بقى تاخذ الراتب 10.
She says she wanted to cook today, but she don't know what to cook because she ain't had no wood, for a fire so she can cook. She says she don't know what to do, and that's gonna be the situation for these Americans out here, these proud Americans out here. The Lord gonna lead them to where they don't know what the hell to do. And they're gonna end up conforming. These 2/3, these heathens gonna be taking it as well, but these 2/3 specifically, they're gonna know what to do and they're gonna conform to sleazy E. and take his charagma so that they can be destroyed. Just like during the time of the 2020, the C-19, where you had to take the juice pack. What do? They know what to do, and they conform. They took the juice pack just like they're going to take the charagma, but what did the elect do? What did the servants of Yahawashi do? Listen to his wise counsel through the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, his prophets. And we have faith in Yahawashi that if we were to lose our jobs, all right, if things were to get uncomfortable, all right, willing to make that sacrifice to lose things and not disobey Yahawashi and take that juice pack. Okay? And that's how it's going to be in this time. We ain't going to take that charagma. So long as the Lord be with us, his spirit remains on us, we not going to take that charagma. And the Lord going to provide for us, man. How do we know this? Through faith. The scriptures say so, man, and we believe it. Revelation 3:10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. That's the hopeful elect, enduring into the end, man. Okay? Long suffering for the Lord. Okay? The Lord said that we was going to eat and drink. Well, we wait on that. We don't conform and take the charagma so that we can eat or possibly not eat. That's the damn devil, man. You don't trust in your enemy. Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusts, so is his wickedness, man. But we going to believe and keep the word of the Lord. Okay? Even unto the death. Yes. Even unto the death. It says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the Lord is going to keep the elect from taking that device. All right. Miracles is going to be happening on behalf of the elect. Okay. Our faith is going to be confirmed in that day, man. Okay. Even as the Lord is confirming our faith now. Okay. Let me finish playing this a little bit.
Rima Shaw is no stranger to poverty. Like most Palestinians in Gaza, it was a fact of life before the war. But now, staying alive is a daily struggle.
He says staying alive is a daily struggle. And that's how it's going to be over here in America, man. Best believe it, man. Okay, it's going to be a whole lot of chaos, man. The worst time in trouble to where our forefather Edris was saying this. He's seen the times that we're entering into. Woe is me. Woe is 2nd Edris 16:17. Woe is me. Woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? And we know the answer to that question. Yahawashi. You see? All the prophets, the servants of Yahawashi, Edris. All right? They're going to be delivered by Yahawashi and none other. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, World War III, Civil War, race war, all right, gender wars. It's going to go down, man. It's going to go down here, man. But it said famine and great death, a beginning of wars, man. Okay? And this is what we've been warning about through the Spirit, man. Just as the prophets of old, Jeremiah 28:8. Okay? The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old. Let me get that. Let me just read it. Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. It tells us, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms. And America is one of those great kingdoms. All right. In fact, the last kingdom to rule before the Israelites come into power. All right. Before Yahawashi returns. All right, the last rule of the heathens of the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, and guess what? We prophesying against it. Okay, of what? Of war and of evil, bad times, and of pestilence. All right, the plagues that the Lord is bringing to this place, man. The judgments, man. All right. The C-19, that was one of the plagues, man. Okay. You had a new one, the monkey. All right. POX. That's another one. All right. You had the bird, FLU. That was another one, man. Okay. The Lord bringing the plagues, man. Okay. And much more to come. Excuse me. Doggone stomach growling. But nonetheless, man, we gotta feed the flock. It says, 2nd Esdras 16:18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, bad times, man. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And that's to call upon the name of the Lord to be delivered, man. Okay? It's the only way we're going to be delivered, man, through faith in Yahawashi. Okay? So our forefather Esdras saw what? The time of Jacob's trouble. Okay? Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. Yeah, these are for corrections. The Lord brings judgments for correction. All right, you see it mentioned famine twice already. Okay, that's one of the major plagues and judgments that the Lord is going to be bringing. All right, here to Babylon the Great and here to the planet Earth. Okay, it says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Yeah, they continue on to get wickeder and wickeder because we're living just like in the days of Noah. All right, people that they continue to eat and drink. All right, marry and giving them to marriage, and of course they're increasing in wickedness, until the day, that the Lord returns, the day of the Lord hits and catch them like a thief in the night, It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, and they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So just because they getting their little, getting to the bag, making their little money, everything's still pretty affordable for the most part. They still can get their dainties and 3-course meals and snacks. They think they're good. But the Lord going to be bringing more judgments, more plagues. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. This is how the Lord going to delete a lot of niggas here. All right, starve them out. All right, how they stomach touching their back, literally. Rib cage showing. To where they're going to be what? Resorting to cannibalism, man. All right, eating their children. Okay, eating their spouses. Eating the family dog, the family pets. Okay, that's how bad it's going to be getting, man. Deleting one another so they can eat one another, man. That's how bad it's going to get, man. And it says, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So if you don't get, caught by this famine, you find some food or you delete somebody, you make a meal out of them. That's how bad it's going to get, man. And, you make a meal out of somebody or you find some food and water. The Lord, have it to where you get taken out by the sword, the modern day sword being the gun. All right, but the ultimate sword, being the thermonuclear destruction that's coming to this place, man. So there's no escape, man. All right, there's no escaping the judgments of the Lord, man. All right, and man, this is gonna be some chaotic times, and if we don't got Yahawashi, we ain't got nothing, man. Okay. Money, guns, nothing's gonna save you, man. Numbers of men, all right, you got a militia, an army, it's not gonna save you, man. If the Lord ain't with you. Amos 5:18, woe, destruction unto you that desire the day of the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, is darkness and not light. as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him, showing you the inescapable judgments of the Lord. All right, we just read at the in Amos, Salakia, in 2nd Esdras 16 and 22, if you escape the hunger, the sword is gonna get you, man. Okay, so the Lord gonna get you either way, man. You can't outrun the judgments of the Lord, man. Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this clip, man.
ليه كمان هو كمان انا عشت من بالمر اصلا يعني من قبل كمان من الحرب وانا
She
وضع
said
بالمر
even
بقى على شكل شو.
if you're reading, she said even before the war, her situation was unbearable. And that's how Esau Edom is making it here in America. You know, you're constantly getting taxed to death. All right, the price of living is skyrocketing. All right, and it's gonna get way worse. If hyperinflation will take effect, but right now we're feeling the effects of inflation. Okay, and meanwhile everything is going up, and you know the wages is continuing to stay stagnant. So it's getting unbearable over here, man. Living paycheck to paycheck, which we as Israelites, this our captivity anyway. We used to it. All right. But now you're seeing these Edomites and these heathens starting to complain because they feeling what Jake been feeling this whole time. And what you think these Edomites gonna do, man? They ain't used to the struggle like Jake. They about to bear arms, man. They about to go batshit crazy, man. To where this devil gonna have to declare martial law. This devil gonna have to lock it down. And that's exactly what this devil wants, to bring in that charagma. But guess what? That's exactly what the Lord wants, man. To bring in the prophecies, man. All right? And during these times, during the time of war, evil, and pestilence here on the earth, okay, the Lord gonna have us covered, okay? While 2/3 these heathens gonna be starving like Marvin, deleting one another, robbing, looting, freaking out. Okay, we gonna be of a stable mind. We gonna be in a good case, protected, provided for, and ultimately until that deliverance, man, to get beamed up before that destruction, comes to America, Babylon the Great, man. Okay.
بقى عايشين وكيف الحين من دون شكل شو ليش بده يصير فينا الحين موت بطيء.
Israel imposed a total blockade 11 weeks.
She said without any checks, it was going to be a slow death. Yeah, famine, starving is a slow death, man. Okay, a torment, a judgment of Yahawashi.
Weeks ago, all food, fuel and medicine supplies stopped. The World Central Kitchen ran out of food. All of the World Food Programme's lifeline bakeries shut down. The sparse market stalls taunt the hungry and the poor. Desperate cries ring out from desperate.
And that's how these 2/3 gonna be looking. Going to Esau, but they gonna be taking that charagma. All right, with their hands out. All right, begging for bread. Okay, but guess what? For the Lord's servant, it ain't been that case since the days of old. It ain't gonna be so now. Okay. This is Psalms 37:25. And this is a Psalm of David. I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. The Lord ain't never left his servants, man. The righteous, the elect, out here begging. All right, a bum on the street, okay, digging out of trash cans, man. The Lord ain't never had us in that state, man. Okay, the Lord always provided for us, man, and He gonna provide for us even more now, man. Look at during the time of the wilderness, we got fed manna from heaven. Okay, miracles of Yahawashi will be performed, man. Okay, we ain't gonna be looking like this. 2/3 gonna be looking like that. All right, but in these times that's coming, ain't gonna be no pots with their hands out, man. They're gonna be roaming the streets, going house to house with the sword, man. Okay? That's how bad it's going to be over here, man, in Babylon the Great. And I quoted it, but I'm going to read it. Second Esdras 15:14, it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, nothing but destruction and chaos is coming to this place. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." So they're going to be having them blickies, man. Them ARs, them pistols, all right? You know, aimed right at one another, man. And it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another." All right, let's look up this word sedition, man. Search this word sedition. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority or state or monarch. They're going to be coming up against the government. Okay? You know, that the whole stage January 6th incident that happened, you know, it's going to be for real. For real, for real. All right? And they're going to be coming after these different politicians and everything as well, man. And they ain't going to, you know, be yielding to their authority. Okay? It's going to be anarchy. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So they ain't going to give a damn what Donald Trump got to say, what the governor, what the mayors, what the senators, what anybody got to say, man. Okay, what the police got to say. They're going to take matters in their own hands. It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." And that is martial law. The order out of chaos that the devil wants. All right? The order out of chaos that the Lord is bringing to the planet Earth. So that this devil can move forward, you know, and implement that device, that karagma, so that the Lord can bring that destruction, man. It says, "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." And that's what all this judgment is about. Pride. Pride go before destruction, and the haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. It says, verse 19, the point. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor." So expect no mercy from your next door neighbor. All right? From people out here in the world, man. All right? Even relatives, man. Okay? They ain't going to have no mercy. They're going to be trying to feed themselves and their own families. All right? But the elect going to be good during this time. It says, "But they shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation." Yeah, for that famine and the time of Jacob's trouble that's going to be ensuing out here, man. All right? These are the times that we are in. Okay? But guess what? Through all of it, let's read this, man. We're going to be living by faith. By these scriptures. All right? Calling on Yahawashi. It says, Job 5:22. I'm going to start up. Verse 19. It says, "He shall deliver thee." This is to the elect. "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles." Let me grab something real quick to show you how we going to be delivered. Okay. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 15. It says, "And call upon me." Call upon who? The Heavenly Father Yahawah through his Son Yahawashi. Call on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. "And call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me." Okay? All praise, honor, and glory is going to go to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? In that time and even now. Okay? Because we have that strong tower to run into, right? Okay? It's going to be shown that the Lord is our protection, man. The Lord is our provision. Okay? Proverbs 18:10. "The name of the Lord Yahawah," the Heavenly Father's name in all capitals. All right? And we're going to be calling on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? The name of the Lord Yahawah is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. This is how we're going to be safe, man. Hence, let me read this. Amos 5:19 as a Salakia. Not Amos. Salat. Job 5:19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. And the troubles is the plagues, the judgments that the Lord is bringing to the planet Earth, man. All right. It says, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. And the 7th trouble, or the 7th plague, is that thermonuclear destruction. It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death. In famine he shall redeem thee from death. So the Lord ain't gonna allow us to starve, man. Okay? He ain't gonna allow us to be looking like them Hamites on them commercials with their rib cage showing, man. No, we're gonna be fed. Okay? And in war from the power of the sword. So the Lord ain't gonna allow us to get taken down by these Babylonians and their blickies, man. Okay? Allow us to be overtaken by these militias, these groups, by these troops to get shot down in streets, man. The Lord ain't gonna allow that for his elect. It says, Job 5:21, it says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Yeah, these wicked decrees. This devil gonna mandate that Quran, man. Okay? This devil is about to demonize this truth, man. Us serving Yahawashi. Alright, but the Lord gonna be, our vindication, man. The Lord gonna vindicate his elect. It says, neither shalt thou be afraid of the destruction when it cometh. All right. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh. You see? Because we're going to have that spirit on us. All right. We're going to have that faith in Yahawashi. All right. We're going to have that hedge. All right. Psalms 34:7. The angel of the Lord, Yahawashi, encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. All right. We're going to be laughing at this, man. Okay. And that's ultimately how the Lord going to be laughing through us, through the prophets. Finally, niggas going to be getting judged. All them niggas that was proud, did us wrong in the world, we going to be seeing their destruction, man. Their demise. Yeah, it's going to be funny. We going to get the last laugh. Niggas laughing, mocking, and scoffing now. We're going to get the last laugh. The Lord going to get the last laugh, man. It says, and did not the Lord say that he's going to laugh at their calamity? He going to mock when their fear cometh? Right? Proverbs 1. Proverbs chapter 1. Excuse me. Get straight to the point. Proverbs 1:26. It says, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Yeah, because 2/3 they laughing and mocking and scoffing at the prophets. Hence mocking and scoffing and laughing at the Lord. All right, but the Lord gonna get the last laugh. Okay? When your fear cometh as desolation, when your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Jacob's trouble. Okay? They're gonna be getting caught up in the race wars. All right? Getting caught up in World War III. Shipped off. Drafted. Getting taken down by their neighbors. Okay? They're going to be starving like Marvin. Okay? They're going to be getting caught up in the pestilence. The Lord going to get these niggas, man. All right? But for the elect, Job 5:22, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Yep, because the wild beasts going to be getting busy on these niggas as well. Okay? For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Because we're gonna be in unison with the earth, with the animals. All right, because the Lord's Spirit gonna be upon us. All right, in us. Okay, and hence I'm gonna end it with this scripture right here. I don't think I read it. I think I quoted it in the beginning, but I didn't read it. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7. For we walk by faith. For we walk by faith, not by sight. So it ain't gonna be, by what we see going on, because we know what's about to happen according to prophecy. It's not gonna be by the things that which we see, all right, and how we move carnally, on how, we're gonna be saved, all right. We're gonna have to walk by faith, okay, and not by sight, man, all right. We have to be walking in the Spirit and trusting in the Lord and calling upon the Lord, all right, because I'll read it one more time. Habakkuk 2 and 4. But I'm going to start up verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, the visions being the prophecies. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. We're at the end right now, the end of Esau Edom's rulership, and the prophecies are speaking. They're coming to pass. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So, it's not, taking a long time. It's happening on the timing of the Lord. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, being Esau Edom the devil. Okay. But the just shall live by faith. So this devil, he coming with the persecution. He coming with the charagma. All right. He's trying to establish his new world order, which will come through chaos. His order out of chaos. All right. Guess what? The just is going to live by faith. The elect is going to be saved through their faith in Yahawashi. So Lord with us, edifying through the spirit and the power of Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, unto you hopeful elect, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you I say Shalawam, Shalawam, to the hopeful elect. Shalawam.